So I just recorded this vlog about porn, so I thought I should actually do a decent vlog about something. Um, so I had this. So I'm currently the events director for the Chicago Independent Radio Project, tripradio.org, and a while back I had this idea for an event, and sometimes I have this, kind of this racing thoughts, to the good, to the bad. It's a blessing, it's a curse, but a lot of times it just means I just have these like really super like boom, inspired thoughts that just come to me very, very precisely. Like this is the thought, this is the vision, this will be the creative thing, a book, a movie, or whatever. And I had this thing like this is going to be an event. Chicago has the dollar store and it has various other things, readings and stuff. We should have something like this too. We're not only just a radio station, but we want to be involved in arts and culture and all of this, and we should have something like this. But since we are a radio station, it should involve music in some way. Plus, we want to have, a unique spin on this, There's the dollar store, there's reading under the influence, there's all these cool things, but we should have something cool like this too. And it comes to me. Here's the thing. People are going to read something, but within their piece, we're going to ask them, the dollar store hands you a dollar store item and says, write it about this. We're going to ask them at some point to have a piece of music or artist referenced in their piece. And then after they're done, we're going to have musicians play that song or artist. And then for whatever reason, I don't know, like it just hits me, right? This is how it's going to go. It's going to be the first time blank. The first time I blank, the first time I whatever. But each time they're going to have a theme. Just like, back in the day when Thomas Dunning would do his hoot nights. They had themes. It was blank versus blank, love versus war, Prince versus Michael Jackson, whatever. It was a theme. It wasn't like just rando people doing stuff. It was like everyone came together around a theme, and it was cool. It was cool that way because then there was something to expect a little bit. You didn't know what exactly, but you knew somewhat a little bit of what to expect, and so it was a little exciting in that regard. So, I know lots of bloggers and writers, and so I know in my head like I can get that going. I can at least get it going. I know there's lots of writers that are really smart and really funny and that are going to be able to write for this. And I know if they're available that they very well may be willing. I'm not positive. But I know that Steve Frisbee and Liam Davis do lots of cover, like they have the ability to do covers, like if they have the time they can recreate a song in their own way but also very true to the original. Like I know they can do this. If they're willing, this will be amazing. Like this would be fucking amazing to have these people read their writings and then have these songs come in right after it to just, I don't know, I just know this is going to be great. I don't really get the sense that everyone in the trip departments really gets it or cares or I don't know. I didn't really feel like everyone was like, yeah, that's going to be awesome. But whatever, like I just knew that it was going to be good. And it was my thing. Like it wasn't going to cost us any money. It wasn't going to do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't costing us anything. So it was my thing to do and plan and run and whatever. So, you know what I mean? If nothing else, it wasn't like, it wasn't going to cost us anything or no one was being put out. Well, Wednesday was our first time. And, it was fucking great. And it was about the first time that you had sex. The first time. I mean, right? That's referenced like that. My first time, right? My first time. And I felt like there had to be a lot of emotion and a lot of funniness and a lot of weirdness and just good stories around that, right? And Leah Jones, who is a great social media person in Chicago, I met her on Twitter. She came out, she wrote for it. Paige Worthy, who I only know through Twitter. We know each other through tweets. She's one of the second people I've met that way. She came out. Karen Lewis, who is the associate director for Striding Line Arts Company, I went and read a piece at their they have a thing called Night Roars, and it was a Lionel Richie thing I did. She came out. Scott Smith, who I blogged with at Chicagoist, came, started the night off. Margaret Hicks, who I also worked with at Chicagoist, wrote and did a piece as well. She's great. Her friend Rebecca Languth, who I met at a spelling bee at the playground, and who I fell in love with instantly, she came out and wrote a piece, and read a piece. Scott, Rebecca, Paige, Leah, me, and then Steve Frisbee also read a piece. And of course, guess what? Steve agreed to play. He got Liam to play as well. And bonus! Gerald Dowd, the drummer, formerly of Frisbee, all of them formerly of Frisbee, also agreed to play. So we had guitar, bass, and drums, 3 vocalists, and it was insane and awesome. Scott kicked it off. His song was Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye. Now I'm going to get people's order mixed up. Margaret's song was Uncle John's Band by the Grateful Dead. Paige's song was Soul Meets Body by Def Cat for Cutie. Rebecca's song was Please Please Let Me Get What I Want by the Smiths. Leah's song was More Than Words by Extreme. The whole crowd sang along. Amazing. Karen's song was Invisible by Michael Penn. Did I get everyone? Margaret, Scott, Paige, Rebecca, Karen. Karen, Scott, Rebecca, Paige, Margaret, Steve. Steve and me were last. Steve, his song was "I Melt with You." And since I read the first time, but I'm probably not going to read again for a very long time. My piece was sandwiched because I had mentioned All I Need to Steve, and he and I have a love for fucking 80s kitsch. So he's like, you have to do that song, you have to do that song. But it turned out that the song I wanted to do and end the piece with was not All I Need. So we went, I Melt With You into All I Need, and everyone was singing that song too, which was so bizarre. I thought I was the only one hanging on to some, like, All I Need weird Jack Wagner. I didn't love Jack Wagner, but I loved that song. I was too young to even know who Jack Wagner was. That was the whole point of my piece, that I was all obsessed with these stupid love songs. No stars are out tonight, but we're shining our own light, and it's never felt so right. 'Cause girl, the way I'm feeling, it's easy to believe that you're all I need. You're all I need. So then I read my piece, and I end talking all about Astral Weeks and Madame George. And I'm scared because people would talk a little bit during the music, and I think it was like a release from having, kind of had to be super quiet, and they were really super quiet. So having had to been really super quiet for the readings. And so I'm like, oh man, I hope no one talks during Madame George. Because fucking it's just a quiet, beautiful song, and I know Liam is going to just fucking nail this. And he fucking nailed it. And everyone was dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. And that's what ended the night, and that's what ended the set, and it was booyah. It was amazing. It was an amazing night, and everyone loved it, and the performers loved it, and the people loved it, and it was such a great fucking time. And I'm out of time again, but It was a great night. It was a great first time, and I'm so happy about it. So I'm still kind of loving it, and everyone else is loving it. We're having a love fest all over the internet. So